Be me, 38, living my best life. Marketing director at major tech company, pulling 6 figures. Corner office, expense account, respect from my team. Have my own condo in the city, travel whenever I want, answer to nobody. This is what freedom looks like. Meanwhile, my cousin Sarah is 28 with 3 kids under 5. Married some guy right out of college, like it's the 1950s. Literally stays home all day, changing diapers and making dinner. No career, no independence, completely financially dependent on a man. I've tried so many times to help her see she's wasting her potential. Every family gathering, I gently point out the imbalance in her relationship. She just smiles and changes the subject. Frankly, it's embarrassing having to explain her life choices to my colleagues. Oh, your cousin is a homemaker. How traditional. Anyway, it's Thanksgiving, and the whole family is at my aunt's house. I arrive fashionably late because I had a work call with our Singapore office. Walk in wearing my new Max Mara suit, feeling powerful. Immediately see Sarah in the kitchen, wearing an actual apron. She's literally serving everyone like unpaid domestic labor. Her husband Mike is just sitting there letting her do everything. Their 3 kids are running around being loud. I pour myself wine and join the adults in the living room. Start talking about my recent promotion, the team I'm building. Sarah brings out appetizers she clearly spent all day making. These look amazing, Sarah. You're so talented, my aunt gushes. Roll my eyes internally. Talented at what? Following a recipe? Could have been using that brain for something meaningful. Mike thanks her, and she actually beams at him. The dynamic is so cringe. After dinner, Sarah and I end up alone in the kitchen. She's washing dishes by hand because my aunt doesn't have a dishwasher. I'm on my phone responding to work emails. Jessica, can we talk? She says quietly. Sure, what's up? I don't look up from my phone. I need you to stop. That gets my attention. Stop what? Stop commenting on my life. Stop the judgmental looks. Stop the little remarks about my choices. Wow. She sounds actually angry. I'm honestly taken aback. Sarah, I'm just trying to help you see. See what? That I'm oppressed? That I'm wasting my life? You've made it very clear what you think. She's not raising her voice, but there's steel in it I've never heard. Well, objectively speaking, you are completely dependent on Mike. What if something happens? You have no career, no income. I have a family, a partnership, a life I chose. But don't you see how the patriarchy has... The patriarchy didn't make me choose this, Jessica. I did. Me, my choice. Isn't that what you're always saying matters? Women's choices? Okay, she's twisting my words. Yes, but informed choices, not just defaulting to traditional gender roles because... Because what? Because I'm not smart enough to know better? Because I'm brainwashed? Her voice is shaking now. I didn't say that. You've been saying it for 6 years. Every family event, every phone call. You think I don't notice? She puts down the dish she's washing and turns to face me. Her eyes are wet, but she's not crying, just furious. Do you want to know what I think, Jessica? Really? Honestly, not sure I do, but I nod. I think you're miserable. Excuse me. I think you tell yourself you're happy because you have to justify your choices, your lifestyle. My lifestyle is objectively successful by every metric. You're 38 years old and you're alone. The words hit like a slap. I'm not alone. I have friends. I date. You swipe on apps looking for men who meet your impossible standards and then wonder why nothing sticks. How does she even know about my dating life? Must be my mom talking to her mom. I have high standards because I know my worth. You have impossible standards because you're terrified. Terrified of what exactly? I'm getting angry now. Of being vulnerable. Of needing someone. Of admitting that maybe career success isn't everything. This is internalized misogyny, Sarah. You're parroting patriarchal narratives. Stop. Stop hiding behind buzzwords and actually listen to yourself. She steps closer to me. I wake up every morning next to someone who loves me. My children are healthy and happy. I spend my days nurturing the people I care about most. I have purpose and meaning and joy. What do you have? I have independence, financial security, professional respect. I have freedom. Freedom to do what? Work 60-hour weeks? Go on bad dates with men who won't commit? Come home to an empty apartment? Okay, that actually hurts. You don't know anything about my life. I know you've been on dating apps for 4 years. I know you're seeing someone named Brandon right now, and also someone named Alex, and someone else whose name I forget. How the fuck does she know this? My face must show my shock. Mom showed me your Instagram. You post about your dates, your adventures. It all looks very exciting and modern. She pauses. It also looks lonely. I'm speechless. Actually cannot form words. Here's what I think really happened, Jessica. You bought into an ideology that told you traditional family life was oppression, that marriage and motherhood were traps, that the only path to fulfillment was career achievement and independence. Because it is. Women fought for generations. And I'm grateful they did. Grateful I had choices. But you're not grateful I made a different choice than you. You're angry about it. I'm not angry. I'm concerned. You're angry because my happiness challenges your entire worldview. She picks up another dish, hands shaking. If I can be genuinely fulfilled as a wife and mother, then what does that say about your choices? About your life? About everything you sacrificed for your career? I feel like the room is tilting. I didn't sacrifice anything. You chose to prioritize career over everything else. And that's fine. That's your choice. But you can't stand that I'm happy with my choice. Because if I'm happy, if I'm genuinely fulfilled, then you have to question whether you are. Tears are actually forming in my eyes now. What is happening? You think I haven't noticed that you never talk about your personal life unless it's to mention some new guy you're seeing? You think I don't see through the Instagram posts about how great solo travel is? The think pieces you share about why women don't need marriage? Sarah, you're trying to convince yourself as much as anyone else. A tear actually rolls down my cheek. I'm crying. I never cry. Every time you criticize my life, what you're really saying is, please tell me I made the right choice. You need me to be miserable so you can feel okay about being alone. I'm not alone, my voice cracks. Yes, you are. And you're terrified you always will be. The words break something in me. Because she's right. I am alone. I go home to an empty condo every night. I haven't had a relationship last longer than 4 months in years. Brandon stopped texting me back last week. Alex told me he's not ready for anything serious. There's always another excuse, another incompatibility. The apps are exhausting. The dates blur together. I tell myself I'm being selective, that I won't settle. But what if I'm just afraid? Last month I turned 38, I hear myself say. My voice sounds hollow. My doctor said if I want kids, I need to decide soon. Freezing eggs, all of that. Sarah is quiet, listening. I told her I didn't need to, that I wasn't sure I wanted children anyway, that I was focused on my career. Another tear falls. But the truth is, I'm terrified I waited too long, that I spent so much time building a career and finding myself, that I missed the window for the life I actually wanted. I'm full on crying now. Every guy I meet is either intimidated by my success or just wants something casual. The ones who are serious are looking for younger women. I see them on the apps, 40-year-old men with age preferences maxing out at 35. Sarah hands me a tissue. I take it. My life looks perfect on paper. Corner office, great salary, respected in my field, but I go to work events alone. I spend holidays alone. I come home alone. The words are pouring out now. Last month I had to attend a work gala. Everyone brought their spouse. I brought my assistant because I couldn't stand the thought of showing up alone again. I told people she was my friend, visiting from out of town. Sarah's expression has softened, but she doesn't interrupt. I spend so much time telling myself I'm happy, that I made the right choices, that traditional relationships are limiting and marriage is patriarchal, and I'm better off alone. I look at her directly. But then I see you, and you're actually happy, not performing happiness for Instagram, not convincing yourself you're happy, just happy. She nods slowly, and it destroys me, because if you can be happy in a traditional marriage with kids, then what does that say about me? About my choices? I sink into a chair. I have everything I thought I wanted, everything feminism told me would make me fulfilled. Career, independence, freedom, financial security. Another sob. But I'm miserable. I'm so fucking miserable, and I can't admit it because I've built my entire identity around this lifestyle. Sarah sits down across from me. Do you want to know the worst part? I continue. 3 months ago, I matched with this guy on the app. His name was David. He was 41, divorced, had 2 kids. He had every other weekend. I wiped my eyes. We went on 4 dates. He was kind, thoughtful, asked about my day and actually listened, brought me coffee the way I like it. Nothing flashy, just solid. Sarah waits. After the 4th date, he said he was looking for something serious, that he wanted a partner, maybe marriage eventually, that he'd done the casual thing after his divorce and was ready for real connection. My voice drops to a whisper, and I ghosted him, just stopped responding, because the thought of being serious with someone, of being vulnerable, of potentially needing someone, it terrified me. I look up at Sarah. I've spent so long being independent that I don't know how to be anything else. The idea of relying on someone, of combining my life with someone else's, of compromising, I can't do it. I've convinced myself it's weakness. Sarah reaches across and takes my hand. Her hands are rough from housework, and I remember mine are soft from expensive manicures. It's not too late, Jessica. Isn't it? I'm 38. My eggs are aging. The men my age want younger women. I've spent so long prioritizing career that I don't even know how to be in a relationship anymore. You could start by being honest, with yourself and with the people you date. Honest about what? About what you actually want, not what you think you're supposed to want based on your ideology. What you actually want. I think about this. What do I actually want? I want what you have, I whisper. Saying it out loud feels like betrayal. Betrayal of everything I've claimed to believe. I want to wake up next to someone who loves me. I want kids, even though I've spent years saying I wasn't sure. I want a partnership, a real one, not just someone I see twice a week between work meetings. I'm sobbing now, ugly crying into the tissue. But I can't have it because I waited too long. I spent my 20s and early 30s building a career and telling myself family could wait. And now I'm almost 40 and alone, and it's too late. It's not too late, Sarah says firmly. But I'd have to give up so much. My career trajectory, the promotion I'm working toward, the respect I've built. No, you wouldn't. You'd have to make different choices, but you wouldn't have to give up everything. Mike and I are partners. He supports my choices, and I support his. That's what partnership is. But you gave up your career. I chose to focus on family for this phase of my life. I can go back to work when the kids are older if I want. Or not. The point is, I chose this, and I'm happy with my choice. She squeezes my hand. You can choose too, but you have to actually choose what you want, not what you think you should want. I think about David, solid, kind David, who wanted a real relationship. I ghosted him because I was afraid. What if I don't know how? What if I've been independent for so long that I can't be anything else? Then you learn. The same way I learned how to be a mother. The same way Mike learned how to be a husband. You learn. I sit there crying in my aunt's kitchen, wearing my expensive suit. Sarah sits across from me in her apron and mom jeans. And for the first time, I see her clearly. Not as a victim of patriarchy. Not as someone who settled, but as someone who actually knows what she wants and built a life around it. While I've spent years building a life around an ideology, around what I'm supposed to want, around proving a point, I don't know if I can change, I admit. I don't know if I can be vulnerable enough for a real relationship, if I can admit I need someone. You just admitted it to me. That's different. You're family. Start there then. Start with being honest with family, then friends, then eventually maybe someone you're dating. I nod, still crying. Jessica, Sarah says gently. Yeah. I need you to stop judging my life. I need you to respect my choices, even if they're not the choices you would make. I know. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And I mean it. I've spent years making her feel small for choosing family over career, because her happiness threatened my entire worldview. I was projecting. Everything I said about your life was really about my own fears. I know, she says simply. We sit in silence for a moment. From the other room, I hear Mike laugh at something, hear one of the kids squeal with delight. Normal family sounds, the life I convinced myself I didn't want. What do I do now? I ask. What do you want to do? I want to be honest. I want to stop performing happiness. I want to figure out what I actually want instead of what I think I should want. That's a good start? I think I want to reach out to David, apologize for ghosting, see if he's still interested. That takes courage. I'm terrified. That's how you know it matters. I pull out my phone, find David's contact, stare at it. My hands are shaking. What do I even say? Sorry I ghosted you. I was having an existential crisis about my entire life philosophy. Sarah laughs. Maybe start with, I'm sorry. I wasn't ready, but I'd like another chance if you're open to it. I take a breath, type the message. My finger hovers over send. Everything I've built my identity around says this is weakness, that needing someone is oppression, that admitting I was wrong is betrayal. But maybe I've been wrong about all of it. Maybe the real freedom is choosing what I actually want, even if it looks traditional, even if it challenges my ideology, even if it means admitting I was wrong. I hit send. The message delivers. 3 dots appear almost immediately, then disappear, then appear again. He's typing, I tell Sarah. She smiles. My phone buzzes. I'd like that. Coffee this week? I stare at the message, start crying again, but different tears this time. He said yes, I tell Sarah. Good. Now comes the hard part. What's that? Actually being honest. Actually being vulnerable. Actually admitting what you want. She stands up, goes back to the dishes. And Jessica? You need to figure out what you actually believe. Not what you're supposed to believe. Not what sounds good or progressive or feminist. What you actually believe about life and relationships, and what makes you happy. I nod. She's right. I've spent so long performing a version of feminism that I forgot to ask what I actually want. I built a whole life around an ideology and ended up alone and miserable. While Sarah, who I judged for years, is actually happy. Later that night, I drive home to my empty condo. Luxury building, doorman, city views, everything I thought I wanted. I walk into my apartment. It's pristine because I'm never here, decorated by a professional because I was too busy with work. I sit on my expensive couch and look around. This is my life. Successful, independent, free, and completely empty. I think about Sarah going home to her messy house. Toys everywhere, kids' artwork on the fridge, Mike asking about her day, bedtime stories and goodnight kisses. The life I convinced myself was oppression, the life that's actually full of love. I open my laptop, look at my calendar, meetings, presentations, networking events, so busy, so important, so alone. I think about what Sarah said, that I've been trying to convince myself I'm happy, that every social media post about solo travel and independence is really just desperate justification. She's right. I've been miserable for years, but I couldn't admit it, because admitting it means admitting I was wrong about everything. My phone buzzes. Text from my mom. Sarah said you two had a good talk. I'm proud of you, honey. I stare at the message, wonder what Sarah told her. Another text. It's never too late to change course. Love you. I start typing a response. Delete it. Try again. Finally just write, love you too, Mom. Set down my phone. Look around my empty apartment again. Think about David. Coffee this week. A chance to be honest. A chance to admit what I actually want. I'm terrified because wanting a relationship, wanting family, wanting partnership, it contradicts everything I've claimed to believe, everything I've built my identity around. But maybe that's the point. Maybe real growth means admitting you were wrong, admitting you built your life around an ideology instead of around what actually makes you happy. I think about tomorrow, going back to my corner office, my important meetings, my respected position, and I wonder if any of it actually matters, if any of it fills the emptiness. Spoiler, it doesn't. I've known for years it doesn't. But I kept climbing, kept achieving, kept performing success, because the alternative was admitting I'd made a mistake, that I'd chosen wrong, that I'd wasted my 20s and 30s chasing something that didn't actually fulfill me. My phone buzzes again. Email from work. Urgent issue. Needs my attention. I stare at it. Think about responding immediately like I always do. Think about the promotion I'm working toward, the respect, the achievement, the success. And then I think about Sarah, washing dishes in her apron, genuinely happy, and I close the email. It can wait until morning. Maybe that's a start. Maybe learning to prioritize differently. Learning to admit what I actually want. Learning to be vulnerable and honest. Maybe that's how I stop being alone. I sit in my empty apartment. 38 years old, successful career, corner office, 6-figure salary, and absolutely nothing else. Tomorrow I have coffee with David. Tomorrow I start being honest. Tomorrow I start admitting what I actually want, instead of what I think I should want. It's terrifying. But maybe Sarah's right. Maybe that's how you know it matters. I look at my phone one more time, at David's message. Coffee this week? And I realize Sarah outsmarted me, not with arguments or ideology, but by simply being happy, by living a life that contradicted everything I claimed to believe, and forcing me to confront the fact that my ideology wasn't making me happy, that all my independence and success and freedom had left me completely alone. She won, not by debating, but by being genuinely fulfilled while I performed fulfillment, by having what I actually wanted while I convinced myself I didn't want it, by being honest while I hid behind buzzwords. I set down my phone, look around my empty apartment one more time, and finally admit the truth. I was wrong about everything, and now I have to figure out if it's too late to make it right. But at least I'm finally being honest. At least I'm finally admitting what I actually want, even if it means destroying the identity I've spent years building, even if it means admitting that traditional, doesn't mean oppressed, that Sarah's happiness is real, and mine has been a performance. I sit in the silence, alone with the truth, and tomorrow I start over, if it's not too late.